How's it going, everybody? It's Jneu again. Haven't uploaded in a bit, but doing something different. We got a podcast. Joined here with the Ussylis or Useless or whatever the fuck he wants to be called. But he does Dead by Daylight tutorials. I've played with him before. You've seen him in some videos. Yeah. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm useless, basically. I'd rather be called useless more than anything. But you can also call me Eli if you know me personally. Uh, yeah, I I haven't made a video in a while, so
Like
people
two
just know
months.
me for making. Well, actually, it's almost a month if
Oh.
we're going in actual. Yeah, I haven't made a video in a while. But I'm planning to do a podcast to keep me, doing something on social media, I guess, besides just posting hey guys, I'm getting back on Twitter, like stuff like that. I was like, I'd rather just like keep something consistent. So
Yeah.
I felt like a podcast would be like a nice way. Plus, I have a lot of knowledge in the game, and I like to spread it with a lot of players, and hopefully that would hopefully change people's perspective on the game and find something a different playstyle than just being toxic and
Mhm.
boosted.
Yeah, these podcasts are going to be coming out. We aim to record them every Sunday. Today I'm recording on Saturday, and I'll probably upload on Sunday. But they're going to be something that are going to happen pretty much every week. And so long as we continue it, we'll do things like we'll add more people, we'll pull guests on, we'll kind of do stuff like that. It all kind of depends on how this plays out. Maybe this thing will be an entire bust, and I'll just go back to trolling Eli's Discord or something like that. But yeah, for now we're just going to be talking about like this one's kind of going to be focused on the state of Dead by Daylight as a whole and how the game is being handled by the developers. So Eli, you want to lead us off?
No,
No?
no.
All right, well, let's start now like
I
with
basically just woke up. No,
God,
you're
you
starting this
just woke
off.
up and it's 2 o'clock.
Hey, I overslept.
A little. Jesus Christ. But all right, let's talk about the spirit. She just came out and she's been out
Yeah.
for a little bit, so I think it's safe to kind of make form our opinions on how we think the spirit's balanced and how she's.
Uh, so first view of her after a couple days playing against her and even playing as her because I do actually play killer for
Is
people
this
who
on the
know me just
PTB?
a
Was
certain
this
way.
on the PTB or was this on main game?
I actually didn't not I actually did not play Spirit a single time on the PDB. I just played a full time after she came out.
Gotcha. Okay.
The Spirit, I don't know. I've seen against. I've been a lot against bad killers. I mean, bad spirits and good spirits. I would say that she's, if taking into the right hands with enough practice, I would say that she's like mid to high tier,
Hmm.
like mid colon high tier. I don't think that she's high tier. I don't. Basically, I don't think she's better than Huntress.
Yeah.
Which I would state. We can say killer tiers later in the podcast or a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
topic.
definitely. Or that could be for another one.
But I would say just Spirit is definitely not the best, but also definitely not the worst.
Yeah,
She
I would
de-
agree
she
on that. I
she
think
is a
that.
very high skill capped killer, and I don't think she's add-on reliant too, which is really good. Any killer that isn't add-on reliant is a decent killer.
Yeah.
And the way you um like think or how you define a good killer ended by daylight is mobility, how good they are in chases, and how much they can delay the game in general. That's how you basically define a good killer from a bad killer. So
Yeah. I think
yeah,
Spirit,
yeah,
she has a lot of potential. I don't think that she's bad. Like, she's not nurse level. There's no way in hell. She's not Huntress either. She's not Hillbilly. She's not gonna. I would even venture to say that she's a little bit worse than Clown. But her power is a
Hmm.
really cool concept, and if you play it perfectly, it can be absolutely destructive. But the problem is with scratch marks and the way they function. I've played a lot more as Spirit than against Spirit. That's kind of the opposite with Eli. But the Spirit, her power, it forces you to play a mind game, and mind games they often play in against the killer because the survivors just have a lot more options. Like if the survivor knows that the killer is going into or that the spirit's going into her power, they can now alter their movement to throw the killer off.
Yeah, it's like going against the nurse, but it's actually like a fair game. It's actually like there's actually mind games you can do.
Yeah, a lot of people have called Spirit just what Nurse should have been. But yeah, we could get it. We can get into Nurse later because that's an entirely separate fucking thing. But I think if you play her perfectly, she's fucking insane. But it's not really something that. I think it's gonna take a lot of time for people to get really good with her.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, as of now, I would say she's mid tier. Her movement speed not being along the lines of the base killers, I think is something that's really holding her back.
Oh, is Spirit Speed not 115?
No, it's not. It's 110.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
it
interesting. That's good
force
to
it.
know.
That's the thing, right? Like a lot of people say, like Huntress without hatchets is just not worth chasing with. So with Spirit, the thing is she's got the same movement speed as Huntress, so now she needs to chase and use her power that forces a mind game in which you will oftentimes rather lose the survivor because you can't see them,
Hmm.
or you're gonna
Keep in
like
mind,
lose distance because of it.
keep in mind that one of the recent patches actually made the lunges reliant on the speed of the killer. So if you have like
No,
an
that's kind of that's not correct. That's what it was before. Now it's every killer, maybe not the nurse because nurse is weird,
wait,
but
what?
they made it so every lunge is now a base range. That was introduced with the spirit, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
I thought it was the other way around. That's
Yeah, no,
interesting.
it's
Then
the
why
opposite.
do you hear that people complain about Hunter's lunge being way too small then after the new update?
After the new, I have no idea. Some people well, they'll complain about anything. You got to remember that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
they're all equal range now. I say all, not really counting the nurse, because the nurse her blinks and lunges. It's really weird, and I honestly don't
I
have the
feel the
number.
reason the nurse's lunge is way too long. I feel like the reason is because I think it's something to do with latency. Honestly, I honestly think it's just latency when
Mm.
it comes to like getting those really bullshit hits. I think it's just
Yeah, that's
latency.
always been a thing. Like say on Windows, right? On Survivor's End, it looks like they're well past the window, and then the killer smacks them. But
Hmm.
on the killer screen, they barely clipped them because they were still going over the window. But the Survivor, they were already over. So that's just something to do with latency. That's not really something that they can reliably fix. So yeah, oh well.
Oh well.
But along with the spirit, there was also the new Survivor. Eli, what do you think about his perks?
Her perks.
The Survivor perks.
Oh, survive. I thought you meant the killer.
Yeah, we can go back to those.
Okay. Let's just. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Okay. Diversion.
Oh my God. Okay, diversion is just it's
Uh.
it's bad. Okay, like
Well. Okay. I've never fell for it ever. Maybe it's because a lot of people aren't using it, but
the most
honestly,
diversion's
if
gonna do
diversion,
is get the killer to turn around, look, see a skill check, and then like proceed to go and do whatever they were doing.
I don't know. I don't think diversion is good. Maybe if diversion allowed it to whatever it like hits on contact rather than just on the map itself, then I think maybe it's all right. But I don't know. I don't like the fact that diversion works as of right now. I think it's I really do think it's a cool mechanic, but this the way they implemented it is kind of weak in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a fun little perk, and it's something like
Yeah.
if you want to mess around with like low rank killers and like completely throw them off, yeah, sure, do that. But like we're not really talking like as in terms of effectiveness against like killers that have maybe a couple more brain cells,
Yeah.
just a couple. I think
I
it's a little
think
more useless in a sense.
I think it'd be cool if diversion. No, I just thought of it. Maybe if diversion, if you threw it, it made like tracks like footsteps. I think that'd be
Yeah,
kind of cool because then you could actually mind game someone like if it's like late game and you can throw like near like a shack if someone is
yeah.
hooked or something, and then you can just
Like
get negative
along
based
the
on that.
arc of the rock, it produces scratch marks.
Yeah,
All those
basically.
spirit mains would start crying, dude.
Yeah, because like diversion would actually okay maybe that.
Well, that
That's
yeah, no, I don't think
I
that.
think of it, spirit.
God, yeah, spirit. The other issue with like that is that scratch marks are delayed, which kind of
Basically, the only thing I don't like about diversions is the fact that it is collision. It's weird. I know how it works. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's just the collision is weird.
yeah, and also like
Um,
you need to be in the killer's terror radius for X amount of time. I don't have the number in front of me.
that is also true. That
Yeah,
is also true.
it's
But
just
at
not
least it's
really
not a
something.
one-time use. At
Yeah,
least it's
true.
not a one-time use.
Yeah, thankfully.
Deliverance.
It works sometimes. It's got like a I think somebody posted something a while ago. It was like this perk works 100% of the time, 60% of the time. Because like in its current state, it's broken, and the devs they're working on fixing it. But
Even I mean, let's just
let's assume it
without
works. Let's assume it
yeah,
works.
yeah, let's assume it works. Metaphorically, not metaphorically. I'm retarded.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't. I don't know. Deliverance is
Okay, it can be really clutch, all right? Like,
it's like what Ace what would want. Like I think it's like an Ace perk. I don't know. I just feels like an Ace perk.
well, if you're running ace and you're running shit to pull yourself off the hook, and if it has a theoretically 100% chance of getting you off the hook, and then you add more percent chance on 100%, it's kind of redundant. But I think Deliverance, it can be really strong. I think the drawback is nice. It adds a sense of risk to it. So, like, you can get yourself off the hook, but then if the killer comes back, you're absolutely boned. Whereas if your friend saves you, your friend can take a hit, your friend could have borrowed time. So it's like, do you want to wait for your friend to help you and possibly heal you and give you more time to live, or do you want to just get yourself off now?
I just think the concept of deliverance is kind of something that survivors want. I think that's the best way to
Yeah,
put it.
definitely.
And it is even though it's what survivors want, it's also not best.
It's not the
It's I mean,
greatest.
sorry, it's not good. It's what
Yeah.
survivors want, but it's also not really good.
Yeah. At most, you're gonna
Um,
see 3 deliverances in a game, and I say at most, you're not ever really gonna see like you'll probably only see one a game if somebody's running deliverance, because
also,
if there's 3 deliverance, there can't be 4 because one person needs to get hooked initially. So I would say it's
that's true.
probably along the same lines of how I think on Decisive Strike, to where you're gonna see it maybe like once every now and then, but it's not gonna have a gigantic effect on the game.
Imagine for decisive for deliverance with bar time and adrenaline.
God damn. Yeah, that sounds like fun. We should run that in a Survive with Friends, just
Oh
see how that would
God.
go. That would be
uh,
awful.
auto detect, auto didact.
Autodidact.
I knew that. Auto
Autodidact.
didact.
Yeah, autodidact.
uh,
I think
I don't think this is a good perk at
okay,
all.
so autodidact right now, for people who don't know, it's also bugged right now to where sometimes it's really unreliable, so it's not something you can do a ton. But every now and then, what'll happen is the perk will break, and it'll think that a generator is a heal. So if
I've
you,
never had that before, so
yeah,
I
I know,
can't
yeah, but there
clarify.
is video evidence of it being out there. You could probably search it up. But yeah, there's not really a reliable way to do it as far as I know. And if there was, I wouldn't say what it is on here because I don't want people going out and ruining games just because they want to. But I think with again ignoring the whole it works on generators, it works on hooks, it works on jigsaw boxes
Yeah, let's talk
sometimes.
about the concept itself. I think the concept is cool.
Okay, in the PTB it
Um,
could get up to like what 80%, right? And then it got dropped down to like 60 or 50 in
it
the
got dropped
main game.
down to 45.
45 total, you sure?
Oh wait, no, sorry, that's tier one. My
Yeah,
bad.
total. You're in
Total.
the game, so pull up the thing.
Yeah, and it says since I actually have the perk maxed out on Figment, since I have every single perk in the game now. Figment. Hold up. Uh, oh, 60 sec. Wait, no, that's Deliverance. Fuck. Um, yeah. Maximum of 5 tokens, so 15 times 5. You do the math. I'm
Yeah,
not.
15 times 5, it's like, yeah, whatever. It's not
It's
80%.
like.
Fucking hell, whatever it is. I'm not doing math. You know, I'll pull up a calculator right now.
We're so tired. We don't
What,
even want to do math.
15 times 5 minus 20, because there's a 20% debuff to begin with. You get a max of 55%. So, god damn, I really had to pull up a calculator for that. That's sad. But,
Okay, so yeah, the concept of it is cool.
it's cool,
Basically
but
for people who don't know how it works, for some person who doesn't read, basically how it works is every single time you hit a skill check,
a healing
your
skill
skill
check.
check, a healing skill check, sorry, uh,
You start at
you
a
heal
negative
them.
20%
Yeah, you
debuff
start.
on your first healing skill check, and then when
Yeah,
you hit that skill check, then you get a token, and the
remember
token,
on the skill check, not when you're healing them.
correct.
It's when you hit the skill check.
Yeah. So like the
Um,
skill check could be out, and if you rather A miss it or the heal finishes before, which is probably more likely.
I
Uh,
don't know. I
if
mean,
you if you
like,
hit that skill check, then you get a token, which will give you 15% bonus to your next skill check. So then the next skill check you have, assuming you have tier 3, it would be a 5% regression, and then the next skill check you hit would be a 10% bonus when you hit that skill check. So it scales later in the game, and I think it has really high potential. But let's be real here: how often are you healing other people in a game? Like often with
Depends.
the prominence of self-care right now, so
It,
many people are over just they're just going to self-care themselves instead of looking for a teammate. Obviously there are people that don't run self-care, but that's not something you can expect in a high rank game most of the time because everybody's trying to run the most optimal setup. So I think autodidact can, and I mean can, be really powerful, but it's not really going to have a giant effect on the way a game plays out, I'd say.
yeah, but for people who use like self care and bond, like let's just say for two perks specifically, when people use self care and bond, they can actually use didact, fuck you, and they can use bond too. And I think that'd be like a pretty good build. I'm actually gonna try that. I actually haven't thought about that.
How about empathy and autodidact? Everybody
I once
like
again, everyone. Okay, empathy and bond is that's a different. We
yeah.
can talk on that topic
That
later.
would
I
be
don't want to
for
talk about
another one
topic.
because like there's a big ol' argument between empathy and
Yeah,
bond. It's really silly.
yeah.
Like yeah. But I
And
think
then the last perk.
we just went over
Oh wait,
all
yeah.
of them.
Oh right. I'm
You
tired.
really did just wake up. You ain't kidding.
Yeah. Uh. So,
The spirits perks. Let's start
well,
with Spirit Fury.
wait, to summarize
Oh, okay.
Taps perks, it's actually not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad compared to Taps perks and Quentin's perks. I think it's not that bad. I'm gonna give it a solid. And also compared to Kate's perks, I think they're
Hmm.
not. I think it's pretty good compared to all of them.
Yeah.
Um.
I
Yeah.
think they have really nice synergy capability, but on their own, they're not the greatest. Maybe save Deliverance
Yeah.
because it can have a big effect. Big emphasis on can. But let's move
Spirits
on to the
perks.
spirits perks. Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's start with Spirit Fury. That's the one that on breaking pallets at tier 3, it's 2 pallets. Then the next pallet you get stunned at, it'll automatically destroy the pallet for you. You'll still suffer the stun, but you don't have to go through the pallet break animation if you were to get hit by it, or when you get hit
Yeah.
by it, I should say.
It's a tier 3 at Haunted Ground at 60 seconds, correct?
Yeah, tier 3 haunted ground is 60, and then Rancor it's
Answer.
5, 4, 3 seconds they see you. But let's start with Spirit Fury. I'm gonna lead off on this one. I think
Okay.
it has really good synergy with Enduring and Brutal Strength. Maybe not together because if you're running 3 perks to break pallets, you're not leaving yourself much room for other stuff like Ruin, Chili, Nurses, stuff like that. So maybe I would combine it with Enduring because I love Enduring. It's a really nice perk with on synergy, but I don't really think that it's something that you're gonna see a whole lot of because that's 2 perk slots you have to dedicate when other perks that are probably gonna be a lot more useful. I'm mainly thinking nurses, ruin, and chili. I think those are gonna be more effective, but overall it's a decent perk, and I like the idea that the devs are implementing more perks in regards to chasing, because right now killers have a really tough time with it, especially involving pallet looping. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Eli?
I feel like okay. I've seen a lot of clips of Spear Fury on and Enduring. It is such a really good combination. Also with Bruce saying, oh, you like you said, you if you have all those 3 perks, you're not gonna have a lot of tracking perks or delaying perks, and that is very important in the game.
Yes.
But I guess it just depends on your playstyle, depends on what kill you're playing as well, and it just overall matters on this the RNG of the map
Yeah,
and
true.
stuff like that. But I would say it's a good perk. I would say it's a good perk. I don't think it's a perk that you should use as a meta. Like if we're talking meta wise, I don't think it's meta. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
think it'll
None
ever
of
be
these
meta.
perks are really going to be meta defining god tier perks like other ones have been in the past,
Yeah,
but they're decent perks.
yeah, they're decent.
Yeah. I think it's a cool concept, and I like the idea that the devs are experimenting with different ideas because eventually they're going to have one that's a good idea, like an actual good idea,
Or they're just gonna run out of ideas. Period.
or they'll run out of ideas and make some other
Surprised
shit
they
like
haven't.
I mean surveillance on or on the pig, really? I think that's out of ideas. God, dude. Yeah, that perk needs to rather just get deleted or completely reworked because it's
You can
atrociously
see.
bad.
Jesus.
See people while they're fucking. Alright, I'm not even gonna get into that. It's gonna piss me off. Not actually, but like.
Oh
Oh
come on,
boy.
You're trying to say Quentin perks aren't even worse.
I love when people like say that Vigil's decent.
It used to be decent, not
Used to
anymore.
be, and then they killed exhaustion. Well, maybe not killed, but they fucked with exhaustion.
It's still not bad, but it's not worth using unless you're trying to go for a specific build,
Yeah, it
a
ain't worth the perk
specific build,
slot.
and a specific playstyle. Then no, it wouldn't work at all. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I completely agree
Uh,
on that.
Haunted Ground, another hex perk. Wow, original.
Okay, I've had varying degrees of success with Haunted Ground. What I've done is I've ran Devour and Haunted Ground and then played the Spirit. So they sit and think, oh, Spirit with Haunted Ground, haha, I'm not cleansing a totem. And then all of a sudden I'm at 3 stacks of
And now
Devour.
they gotta like risk it.
Now they're like, shit, which one is it? So then they go to cleanse the totem and then they cleanse the Haunted Ground. So I now have Devour and Insta down.
Also, having what's it called? Thrill of the Hunt is also really good.
Yeah, but then the problem is now you have to take care of 4 totems essentially, while also trying
Eh,
to cover gens, and that's a lot to keep track of.
it's not necessary to like keep track of generators. It's more of like
Well, like
uh
as the killer's main
if
objective, you have to take care of
no,
generators.
I'm
Is
just
what I'm
saying. I'm
saying.
saying if Hanagram is like activated, Devour Hope is also like I don't know, already in tier 3. Like they're
Yeah,
gonna be scared regardless. So
yeah. And then
I don't
if
know.
you
It's
get
like
and then if you get to tier 5, I had the best game the other day. I was doing that exact same run perk setup, and I got to 5 stacks to devour, and they still couldn't find it. And I was on uh like Thompson House, something like that.
oh wow.
They couldn't find it for the love of God, and they just they got it, man.
Yeah.
Like they got completely destroyed because of it.
The
So
concept of Hanagram, I kind of like it. I
it's
like how
something
it's
people have been asking
different.
for a while.
It's different. It's definitely different. It's more of like a mind game more than anything. It's like, oh my god, should I get rid of this?
Yeah, yeah,
Can I
yeah.
get my points? Like, I think Haunted Ground is gonna be. I don't know,
It's a fun
because
perk,
you
but
will know if it's Thrill of the Hunt. You will know if it's Hunter's Lullaby. You'll know if it's Hex for Ruin. You will know if it's the third seal if someone's hit.
yep,
So it just basically just leaves out Devour Hope and Know It if it's Lake Imp. But most of the time it's not gonna be Know It because you'll probably be able to see it if you see it.
yeah. No.
But yeah, I think with the right amount of communication, you can maybe say if it's Haunted Ground or if it's Devour Hope.
Mhm.
But it's safe. I think it's safe to activate or destroy a Hexer when someone's being picked up on Haunted Ground, and then you just hide for a little bit. But
Yeah,
then again, if it's tier 3, you have to sacrifice a struggle state. But I think it is worth it. I think it is worth it.
yeah. I think
It's basically Myers 3.
yeah. It's a really good perk in synergy, I'd say. On its own, it's crap because yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. People aren't gonna be too keen on doing it if they suspect haunted ground. Like
And
if I were to see 2 totems and not know and there's no other totem effects in the game, say I check the totem and there's no thrill of the hunt, I hit a skill check on a gen, or my team hits a skill check, just somebody is doing a gen and they don't get the Huntress Lullaby or they get the ruin thing. That leaves third seal, so that's until someone gets hit, and then if someone gets hit, they can report third seal and then be like, oh, okay, I'll go cleanse, because then it's probably something else if we only know there's 2.
yeah.
And there's no effect from Devour, because we're not going to see that. At most, it's going to be like that if there's 2 totems and it's only one possible to be Devour and the other one has to be Haunted Grounds, no one's going to go to cleanse the totems until they find a third one. So,
It's basically just getting outside or getting out of your comfort zone is using different perks to like mess with people
yeah, it
because
makes
people
survivors
are
think.
people are always gonna go for the same meta. They're probably gonna use booty sticks. They're probably gonna or sorry, not saying they're probably gonna use Daring. They're probably gonna use barbecue chill. Ruin. The typical perks,
Yeah,
and those
Chili,
perks can
Ruin,
really mess up.
Nurses,
Like if you see a
something.
hex totem like in the like a couple days after the killer's release, if you see a hex perk and the killer's not the spirit, you're gonna think that it's like something else. But
Yeah,
in reality, it could be it because teachables exist in the game. Because
yeah,
there's no such thing as yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But moving
the
on to the
next perk,
last perk that she has, Rancor. You want to start off, Eli?
Rancor.
Rancor, is that how you
Yeah,
say it?
yeah. That's why I said it. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
You become okay. I actually like this perk a lot. I don't think it's a good perk, but I think it's a really cool concept.
Yeah,
You become obsessed with one survivor each time a generator is completed. The obsession sees your aura for 5, 6, 7 seconds. Each time a generator is completed, also our locations are revealed to you for 3, 4, 5 seconds. Once the generators are completed, the obsession has the exposed status forever, and the killer can kill the obsession.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool. Finally, you can kill the decisive strike holder. Um, for people who actually think it's overpowered, which is once again different podcast, different
Yeah,
time.
or just yeah, something
Um,
different. Can maybe move to that later.
yeah. I actually like this perk. I like it. It makes the killer once again any perk that is decent and it's also like something to do with the obsession. Like there's like save the best for last. There is play with your food. There's like all these obsession perks. And you're like, what perk do I have on me? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like it's scary. Like sometimes it's kind of obvious. Like when you're when someone's injured, you'll know. I think I'm not 100% sure how what's that one perk? Uh, Forgotten how it's called.
What's the perk do
Also,
again?
there. Oh, this is Remember Me.
Okay.
What's the perk? I don't know. I'm not
Remember
thinking. I
me?
woke up. The perk where if they die, it's hard to do generators.
Oh,
I'm not thinking.
fuck. Dying light. Dying light.
Die. There you go. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Basically, I think it's cool how they're adding more obsession break. It adds more mind games. But then again, remember, sometimes it is cool when they add more perks like that, like more variety to a specific category. You gotta remember, sometimes it's just too much. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You don't
Like,
want to
let's talk
dilute
about
the
Fortnite. I'm just kidding.
bro. No. We are not talking about that cursed game on this. That's just
Sorry,
wrong. That's not
my bad.
okay.
My bad. I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, my thoughts are kind of the same. I think that like the effect besides the kill your guy at the end, I don't think it's really anything to sing home about. Like being able to know where everyone is on a gen completion is nice, but generally as the killer, you have a good idea of where survivors are as a whole. So although it's
Also, I want to carry off. Doesn't Bitter Murmur do the exact same thing?
yes, it shows yeah, except it
So
shows
what's the
their
point of
aura.
having two same perks?
Well, because one of them
Because
it
one's a little bit different, where you could mori them for the sake
yeah,
of
see
more
that's the thing,
style.
right?
That's
Like
so stupid.
and
Like, come
but the thing
on.
is, Rancor also is a drawback because it tells them where you or it tells your obsession where they are, which is silly.
Because
But
dude, they finally made Bitter Murmur into like maybe not a good
a
perk, but
usable
like
perk.
a
Yeah,
better perk.
like I
And
would
now they
say,
made a perk that's like that, but like even better.
yeah,
Like, what's the point?
yeah, I
Like,
would
come
say
on.
they effectively took like bitter murmur, made it shitty, and then slapped a Mori on it, called it good, and then shipped it. Like they this is what they did in the dev studio, right? They took a little bit of murmur, got some duct tape, got a Mori, taped that shit together, done. All right, a little bit of Noah, just sprinkle some Noah on the top, you're done.
Sprinkle some Noah.
Yeah, let's get a visual of that.
God.
God, but
Um,
it's a cool idea, and I like being able to mori that guy who's decisive in you, or if just you want to mori someone for the sake of I have a ritual that I need to do. But eh, it's a perk that does a thing. It's not really gonna define any metas. It's not gonna change the way people play. People are just gonna get the hell out of their like obsession.
I think it will help late game if the killer's having problem with end game where they can't really kill survivors, or at least they can't kill their obsession. If they can't kill their obsession, it is a good thing because now their obsession can't really help in body blocking, or they could save, but it's extremely risky. And if they do get down, they can't really get hooked. They're just gonna get killed on the spot. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
leaves out. It basically makes it more of I was gonna make a joke. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it's okay. You're not one for humor anyway. You just sit and say the same
All
sale
right,
shit.
that's the end of the podcast. I'll see you
No,
guys
no, no, no,
later.
no, no. But
Yeah.
all right. So we've kind of covered the whole DLC. What about the map? Have you played it at all? Because I haven't had the
I
opportunity.
I do not like it. I
Yeah,
think it looks cool, but after they added the meat plant map, I'm like, okay, they're
dude,
going towards a different
I
direction than
lost
what.
hope after the meat plant. I'm like they devoured my hopes. See what I did there? Like, God, the meat plant is so poorly designed. It's just hell on earth for survivors. But
the last decent map they have ever added in this game is the Red Forest. That is the
Yeah.
last thing I
Okay, that's my favorite map. It's so
you
fucking
can
cool.
say that Batham Preschool is a good map. You can say the Meat Plant is a good map. You can say the Swamp is a good map. You can say Family Resident. If you say that, we're not afraid. I don't know you. I just don't know you. You can't say those maps are good.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay. Like I can understand maybe being
gameplay wise.
somewhat fond, yeah, for the game. Yeah, the other ones I can understand being fond of a little bit because like, yeah, preschool's kind of cool. That like the boiler room's a cool room. Not really, it's not fun to play on, but it's a cool thing in concept. Whereas the game, it's so bad. Like you have to find the generators for one, which on every other map it's relatively easy. Versus the game, you got to go through a bunch of doors, and they rather might be open, they might be closed. It's impossible to get a decent layout out of the map. Maybe I'm just bad, but well, I am bad. But it's not something that's fun. There's next to no pallets on the map. There's next to no vaults on the map, and Doctor exists. I was
Oh
playing,
God, yeah.
yeah, I was playing a
Also,
game the
let's
other
not
day.
forget the nurse on the Meat Plant. If you don't get a 4-man, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
You are
or you're
doing
just not good
something
enough
wrong
on Nurse. But I
at all.
remember this was last night. I was playing on the DVD server and I was playing with some randoms, and this guy was talking about how, oh yeah, at rank 3, he's like talking about how it's really cancerous at rank 3 or just high rank in general because killers are running sweaty add-ons. And I'm over here on like
Mm.
rank 12 because I haven't played Survivor in a good bit. And he's talking about that, and then he's saying, yeah, like it's gonna be like on the game we're gonna get some killer with like a ton of add-ons. So then, of course, the next map we get is a doctor using Iridescent King and the exhaust, whatever the madness add-on is that makes it so you're exhausted in tier 3. Uh,
Killer Man, by the way.
yeah, and he was using jigsaw piece. We got destroyed. I got the hatch because it spawned right in front of me as my teammate got moried because he had Devour 3. Oh yeah,
Mm.
man. It was just yeah, fun. God, yeah, that was a really bad game, but
We're going
good
kind of
game.
off topic.
Yeah, we
Family
are.
Resident.
Let's go
Family
back. Let's go
Resident.
back to the like main
Yeah, the
map
map.
here.
Family Residence. I haven't played it enough to actually think if it's a good
Uh,
map, if it's a good concept, if it's a killer or survivor side map. I haven't played the map enough yet.
Okay, the problem I
Um,
have with it, or that like I played it in the PTB. I don't know if it's much different now in the main game, but so I'm kind of talking PTB, but talking about like how the game is, or how the map is, I should say. It doesn't have a ton of pallets, and the loops kind of seem far from each other, and the main building doesn't really have a ton of looping potential. Like it's
you
got
toxic looper.
shut the fuck up. But it's got like vaults that you can loop on or whatever, but it's not really too it's not really suited for like a lot of looping situations are like let's
Yeah,
say like Cold Tower before it got nerfed. Yeah, which is a good thing by the way. But
it is a good thing.
I think like all those buildings, even now after they've been changed, they're more like they're usable, right? Like there's somewhere you know you can go and run the killer for a little bit, not for the entire game like you could on the Cold Tower, but like it doesn't really seem geared for that. It's more so like you know the cabin on Red Forest, not the main one, but the other one.
Yes.
You know how like survivors they go there, they vault it, and then they leave. Because if you try to loop that, you're gonna get killed.
Uh. Yeah. Yeah.
Assuming the
The one.
killer's playing correctly. If the killer's not playing
Yeah.
correctly, you can loop him on a truck. Like just the truck. But
Loop them on like a barrel.
loop a hillbilly on a tire, like a little thing of tires. Dude.
I've done that with Leatherface.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
sad.
fun.
It's dude. Rank reset is rough. But yeah, the map it's cool though. I like it looks cool. I like all the grass in it. It's annoying as killer to go against, but it's
It's like
cool.
swamp, but looks nicer,
Yeah,
and also
definitely.
not that huge. I don't think.
Yeah, it's not yeah, swamp is way too big of a map. But yeah, cool map. Uh just it's not like the game level, but it's also not like
The swamp level
yeah. It's somewhere like in the middle, I'd say.
between.
Probably on level with
Well,
like
not well. We can't compare meat plant to any map. So
yeah, I would say it's probably on level with like, you know, the cornfield map. I don't know what it's actually called. Like the one where it's just like predominantly corn and then like basic loops around the edges.
you're talking about That one map.
That one map.
Rotten Fields.
Rotten Fields, thank you. Yeah, dude,
Uh,
I can't be bothered to memorize all the names of the maps, like all the Thompson or all the farm maps. I can't like be bothered to memorize Thompson House,
yeah,
Rotten
fam.
Fields. Yeah, no, not my thing. Too lazy. Game tutor, by the way. But
Right.
just gotta ring that bell just for the sake of ringing it.
For who?
Fuck, I didn't think that far. But all right. So we kind of like discussed the whole DLC. Would you say it, in comparison to all the other DLCs that have been out,
Oh, it's definitely good. I like it a lot.
yeah,
Honestly.
would you say it's the best one to come out, or would that be for another one?
Oh, the best one to come out like out of all the DLCs you can
Let's
choose
talk about
from.
on release. So like when the Hag first came out, when the Doctor first came out, when they all first came out, because we're still in like the first came out stage. Like Hag right
Okay.
now, she came out and she was bad, but now she's like really good.
Hmm. That's. I don't know. Like, that's a good question actually.
Yeah,
I'd say that I would say they're all relatively the same.
I would say that this killer release is I would say the Huntress one is probably the best like release because it was a whole set. I'm counting like the Nurse and Nia as one as well, just things that like the big updates, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say the Huntress one was definitely the best one to ever come out. Just because she's balanced and she's not super overpowered, but she's not super garbage either.
Wait,
Yes,
what?
iridescent hatchets or iridescent heads were broken, but that's an ultra rare add-on, right?
Yeah, multi add-on.
Yeah. I think
I don't like how perks in this game feel like damn abilities,
I
more
know,
like the
right?
actual perks themselves. Like, have you played Friday the 13th?
Oh God, no.
The perks in that game were actually bad and they didn't make you crit. I'm done.
Yeah, please, thank you. God. I think the clown was also relatively well released, and I would say that the spirit comes like before the clown, so it'd be like best one is
On
Huntress.
release, I didn't like Clown's release.
Well, see, here's the thing though, right? The perks were decent. Tap or not
Nah,
tap.
I mean,
uh,
Bamboozle.
what's the clown survivor's name? I,
We don't even know.
uh,
Kate Denson.
Kate, thank you. Yeah, her perks are okay, but and clown's got like decent enough perks, and then killer's fun, map's decent. I would say his it doesn't like really compare to the huntress one, but
Yeah,
yeah, I would say it's probably a little bit worse than the clown, and then the rest kind of comes like before that, because like doctor
yeah.
sucked. Oh, Myers was good too. The map's kind of crap.
Myers, I don't remember actually, but I'm pretty sure Myers was extremely overpowered. I think
Yeah,
Hag was also extremely overpowered.
I don't know if Hag was super overpowered. I think it
No,
was
I'm
just the
pretty no. I'm
introduction of
pretty sure
ruin that.
no, because I'm pretty sure Hag, when you teleport to a trap, you would actually instantly be able to lunge and instantly be able to have hold momentum.
Ah,
I
okay.
think I'm not 100% sure on this.
Yeah, that's kind of
Leatherface
great.
was a
Leatherface sucked.
scary release. Leatherface was a scary release. You would have people buying that and just face cam. There are
Oh my
Steam
god.
groups dedicated to having P3 cannibals who just camp
Yep,
on basement with
that
Insidious.
that's cancer. I don't know. Like, yeah, Leatherface just the surprise of a release was cool and all, but it wasn't really something too
Yeah.
great. But let's yeah. I would say let's like start talking about like other killers now. The Hag recently got reworked. What would you say on the rework on Hag and then Wraith as well?
And Trapper? Didn't Trapper also get
Yeah,
reworked?
Hag, Wraith, and let's start with Hag, and then we can move on from there.
I kind of start with Wraith actually, because Wraith was probably the most
Recent.
recent and also the most known change.
Okay.
I
All
would say.
right, let's go through it then.
Wraith. Dude. Okay,
Let's
I don't know
start with it.
why,
Let's
but
start with his base ability changes.
every single Wraith I've went against, like a couple days, they are all really toxic. They all use movement add-ons, and they all play extremely scummy. They just tunnel and this camp. But let's take that out of
Yeah,
the
let's take that out
equation.
of the equation. Yeah.
Um, Wraith rework on add-ons. I'm not too keen on what they've actually really done, except for the movement add-ons, the default windstorm they get, which is basically before the Wraith rework. It's basically the yellow add-on with
Yeah.
windstorm. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I think Wraith is definitely. I think he's better. I think he's
Yeah.
definitely better.
In regards to the other
Because
killers, where would you say he is?
I have one against him that much
Ah,
to
okay.
know that. But here's the thing about Wraith: the way you play Wraith, at least the Wraith, because I went against Wraith is really strong at blocking vaults and pallets
Right? I've
because
found that,
you're
yeah.
yes, and it can be really frustrating. And with the right add-ons, I once again I have not played Wraith at all, uh, but yeah, Wraith is just scary. His add-ons, I'm gonna take a look at his ultra add-ons, not his other add-ons.
Yeah. I
His all
know.
spearing spirit unlocks awesome potential in one aura's ability. While cloak, the repair progress of generators can be determined by the intensity of the auras. I think that's
It's cool.
really, really meh.
It's cool though.
I it's kind of meh for me.
I know he also
Um,
has an add-on that lets him like break stuff really fast while he's cloaked, which is cool. A lot of his add-ons are
uh,
cool. I think the introduction of
oh
giving
yeah,
him,
tremendously reduces the time required to vault windows, break pallets, or down generators over cloak. Ooh, actually,
yeah,
oh, that's stackable. Hello.
yeah, it's pretty.
Okay, I'm about to test that on Kill Your Friends because I get to do that.
Oh yeah,
Hold up.
yeah. But I would say, oh, he deafened. Well, I'll kind of keep talking. I know that the introduction of Windstorm, like on his base ability, that was a really I think it was a good change for Wraith because so often Wraith players they would use Windstorm to kind of counteract the distance that they lose from uncloaking. Now that that's part of his base kit, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
It makes him a lot nicer to play because he was kind of like Freddy in a sense before, right? Where if you,
Mm,
well, let me finish my thought.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If he was cloaked, he now has to spend time, and time is of the essence as killer. Time is always your enemy, and that's going to be the thing that gets you, that loses you games. So you have to spend time to uncloak, and then you need to chase the survivor again to close that distance and then hit them, right? You don't
Yeah.
really get much on sneaking up on them. Now, if you sneak up on them and you have the little windstorm thing, it's not that much distance you need to make. So, and you could argue that it would be less distance that you have to make if you were a standard killer with standard terror radius and the survivor saw you, right? So if you can sneak up on them and ring, do your windstorm, you can maybe get a hit in a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a cool perk. This is kind of irrelevant, but also kind of relevant.
No, go ahead.
I think a cool perk that they should make, or some sort of, I would say perk more than an add-on,
Okay.
is like where if you hit someone, they would either lose their speed increase while getting hit. Like in the first couple seconds
Ooh.
when you get hit. I think that'd be really cool. But I don't think that should be a perk. I think that should be more of an add-on. That's just an idea that came up to my head. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
that would
mean
be
that's
interesting.
sort of a thing for add-on. Like Huntress, she has her add-ons that like her
Oh, that's
toxin
true.
add-ons.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
strong, and I
It is
like it a
quite
lot
strong.
because if you hit a hatchet, they don't get as much of a boost. Plus, recovery time on hatchet is a lot less than it is on a hit.
Yeah.
I think that could be a cool perk concept. It would definitely have to be something that behavior would need to play around with, but I wouldn't be against having that at least be tested. Yeah,
But yeah,
because
I would say this overall Wraith is I think he's better. I think he's gradually over the past couple of months. I think he's been getting better reworks. He's been getting a lot of reworks. If not, he's gotten the most reworks. I think Wraith,
yeah.
I think his best point was on release, or at least a couple weeks after
Yeah,
release.
it's because everyone was like, Wraith
Um,
OP, Wraith OP, you can't see the killer, Wraith OP.
Yeah, and he got nerfed after that. But now that people actually know how to go against killers even better, I
Yeah.
think they should just I think a lot of the killers that were overpowered back then should be, except for Nurse, should be just reverted for like maybe on a PDB or something just to like test it out.
Yeah,
And I think that would be
I
interesting.
really wish the devs were a lot more open on their like what they're testing, stuff like that, just so the
Yeah.
community can have a lot more of an input. I know one of the biggest things that I've seen with like that helps a company be successful with their community is in the case of Warframe, right? Say what you want about the game itself, you may not like it, you may not appeal to you, but the devs, you can't deny how great the devs are on that game.
I
they
can relate to that all day.
yeah, but like they have a lot of communication with their community. They're really involved with their content creators. They take opinions of everyone and like say they were going to introduce this like damage change to how like damage was applied to enemies. The community collectively threw a giant fit, and as a result, they canceled the idea or they postponed it. So I
Oh,
think
just you
if
know, dude.
behavior were a lot more like open about what they're testing in their like say in their dev streams, they showed a lot more like developmental type things. I think it would help the game a lot because then it would allow the community, and if they kind of listen to the more higher like skilled people, because those are going to be the people that are going to help you determine how the game's going to play out, because a lot of the devs, they don't play their
No,
game a
I'll
ton.
agree on that. I'll agree on that actually.
Yeah, like if
Warfare does have,
yeah,
yeah,
taking
it,
the
it,
opinion of your veterans, of your people that play this game next to religiously. Geez, there's some people with like 4,000 hours. But
oh my god.
yeah, if they take the opinions of those people and they kind of incorporate that and think, oh, these people are saying this would happen. Let's try to implement that and work with it and test that and show the community that we're testing it. It would create a lot more of this like back and forth, almost like it's a discussion and like a more open conversation between what they're thinking of doing and what might happen, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of a disconnect there. We don't really know a lot as to what behavior's doing. Sometimes they release numbers, so it lets us know, okay, they're thinking about, say, the win-loss ratio of the killers this time. And they're maybe going to be looking into implementing changes. Like, let's say with Freddy, right? I think they showed that Freddy was really powerful at low ranks, and then at high ranks, he was kind of ass.
Yeah.
So then, as a result, they saw, okay, he's getting too many wins in low ranks, so let's do something that would affect the low ranks but make it less effective on the high ranks, or something like that, or
I mean, I
change.
don't think that's how it happened, but I know.
I think
I get,
that's kind of
I
like
get where you're.
a train of thought that could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
validly made. So I think open communication with the community is not the most, but one of the most important things, and I think behavior could really stand to improve on that. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah. I definitely think that let's talk about Death Garden really quick because that's kind of important.
Definitely.
Yeah, let's see how Death Garden did. Oh wait, what's Death Garden? What may you ask? Oh, I don't know. It's a game behavior made. Never heard of it. That's probably why. Because behavior doesn't really listen to the community at all.
Well, I think
And
well,
when they well, okay, hold on, let me
good.
rephrase. They do listen to the community, but they just kind of listen to the most complaints and or the most common complaints like, "Oh, the race is so overpowered, it could go invisible." And they just listen like, "Yes, let's nerf the wraith because a bunch of bad players don't know how to counter or go against them." And
I
then when they nerf that, the killers, good survivors are like, "Wow, okay, so this killer is really easy."
hmm
And uh, the reason I'm bringing Death Garden up is because Death Garden, if you don't know, I mean, a couple people know what the game is,
yeah.
but if you do know what the game is, you probably know that it's
It's
Indicator.
Dead by Daylight with guns, essentially.
Well, I'm talking about like the state of the game, more of like what the game actually is.
It got
Death Garden
rushed.
is it's not only did it get rushed, but it's also due to it being rushed, it's dead.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's because they did not listen to the community. Like the community did. There are actually a lot of people who believe in the game, like James, who really did.
I
Like we're
believed.
really interested. We still believe. We're just waiting for that one
Yeah,
update to like
and like they pushed their
change it.
Arizona update like a few days ago,
Yeah,
but I haven't played it.
I
I
feel like
don't care.
I feel like one of the most important updates they need to do is fix it that like good players going against good killers. I know that's what Dead by Daylight failed to do, but they need to do it with Death Guard because Death Guard doesn't have that in the slightest. It's just internet, it's just latency based instead of actually like rank based. I think that's what behavior really needs to focus on, and it's adding like there is a huge competitive um what's
Demand.
it called? Yeah, there's so much potential. They just need to make it where it's it's just not like it's not rank based. I mean, they could make it rank based if they made rank actually like somehow if they added rank rewards, maybe then it would be harder to get rank one. I
Yeah,
think they should add elo to the game. But
that
once
would
again,
be
that's
cool.
just me ranting about what they should do.
Yeah,
But the point I'm trying to say is that Dead by Daylight is the developers at least they need to listen to the community.
Mhm.
I think that maybe they just don't have enough people hired there, or they're just doing a terrible job. It's one of those two.
Yeah. I think definitely that community feedback will be what makes Dead by Daylight truly a like great game. If they step up with their community interactions, I know one of the big things is that they don't really do many community events. They don't do stuff like that. I kind of noticed that being a problem within the game. Like I know with For Honor, I know how much you specifically hate For Honor, but they make it a thing to do a community type events, so like everybody in the Knights faction, everybody in the Samurai, everybody in the Vikings, everybody's like competing against each other to get this, and then whichever one does the best gets the reward. So it creates a sense of like, okay, I got to do this because it's a big old event and I want to win. So like it motivates people to play the game and be more engaged, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight doesn't really have that. It's just something that you play whenever you want to play it. Like, oh, I want to play Killer today. Okay, fine. I want to play Survivor with my friends. I'm gonna do that instead of this event. There's and the grind in the game just kind of it doesn't it's not too rewarding, right? Like I think another issue with the game, and I think it's a core issue of the game, so it'd have to be something that would be majorly like reworked, is that there's a big skill cap for both sides, right?
Yeah.
Or like when I mean cap, I mean it caps off and you cannot do much better after that. Like I'm mainly looking at survivors when I talk about this part because there's only so much you can do as a survivor. You can do all these little techs, all these little things, right? That'll maybe come,
All these little texts.
yeah, all
Go
these
on.
little like fancy things that you can do that are.
Oh no! Don't say Dancy.
I
No.
said fancy. I said fancy.
Oh, I thought I said dance. Oh, you gave me
Yeah,
a
yeah,
heart attack there.
yeah.
I'm
It's all
sorry.
it's all good. Don't worry. I'm not one of
Oh,
them. But
oh God.
you can do all these fancy little things. But at the end of the day, the most effective thing is to run around a piece of wood and then drop it on a big bad
Yeah.
scary killer guy. So I think by making the game a lot more rewarding to get better at, and I'm kind of leaning towards, and I think most of the community would agree with us when we say that it would be nice to have a reward for doing it better, like say a leaderboard. If there's a leaderboard, I think there's going to be a
Yeah.
big, and I mean a big,
That
like,
is a. I think we're ranting off, and I think that is a very nice topic to talk about. But I think we're kind of just going off the main topic, and I think that should be. We can even talk about that in the next
we
podcast,
could do that
actually.
on another one, but this one's kind of just like open talking about whatever. Like the next one, we'll probably do a little bit more
No, no. I mean, I know. I mean, like, I'm just
focus.
saying.
Yeah, but like
I kind of want to end this one shortly.
Okay. Do you have to? When do you have to leave?
I don't have to leave. I'm just saying, like,
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
I don't want. I just want to make it too long.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's been going for a little bit. I can
Yeah.
trim down whatever we're not really looking at. Like this part, I'll probably trim, or I won't because I'm
Well, you
lazy.
can trim.
I like trim the thing in Vegas when I go to edit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I
I was
think
gonna make a joke.
shut the fuck up. God, but yeah, this game. Let's kind of like rounding it off. I think Dead by Daylight, it's in a good state right now, and there are plenty of things that they can do to make it a lot better. You've got room for leaderboard system in ELO, like you said, rank rewards, kind of shifting off of the pushing out cosmetics every week and instead looking to develop like again, kind of like a more competitive aspect of the game. Although Dead by Daylight will never be your next big esport Overwatch shit, it's just that's not how it'll be. But it's never going to be something like that, but it can be something that people can go to and they can legitimately try to be the best out there, because right now it's a lot of, I think this is like people will point to a player and say this guy is probably one of the best players out there, right? But you don't know for sure. There's no leaderboard, there's no like opportunity, because there could be somebody who nobody knows about, but he could be absolutely insane at the game, right?
I mean, we could say who's one of the best known players.
Yeah, known, exactly. But like let's give opportunity for everybody to throw their hat in the ring, right?
No, no, obviously not, obviously, because when people say like 72 hours is the best player in the world, or like
Jesus Christ.
oh treat okay, like when people say like
Stop.
when people say
Group
like
3.
those when people say like they're the best players in the game.
Yeah. It's just because
It's
they have a
like
following. Or I heard a guy say that True Talent was one of the best people to ever grace Dead by Daylight with his existence.
actually was one of the best killers in the game back in
Was.
2016. He
Yeah.
was.
He was really good. and then people got good again, and then True became average, and then started bitching about dead hard and decisive.
Okay, I don't think we should.
Yeah, no,
No,
I'm not
that's a
gonna.
road we should not go
Yeah, I'm not gonna
towards.
trash on True. If you like True, then watch him. He's fun. He's fun.
Yeah.
But like it's all
True
about
time.
like people saying I like this guy because I watch this guy, and this guy's the best because I watch this guy. And it doesn't really, there's not really a way for people to tell who's the best. But I think that's kind of a good stopping point, right? We talked
Yeah.
about the new DLC, the state of the game, how the developers could kind of like interact with the community and maybe look into an open, like competitive, maybe not competitive, but a more like, I guess competitive, a thing to reward players for playing a lot, getting better,
Yeah,
and
I
give them
think
recognition.
that's definitely what I actually made a form. I think like around a year ago, is that they should make like the whole entire leaderboard system. You know, the rank reward, elo, stuff like that. Things that will basically just stats.
Okay, you know what they
Like
could do? They could make cosmetics that you can only get for being a certain place on the leaderboard. Like say top 100 get a shirt for
or
or a badge.
badges,
Shit, that'd be
or
cool too.
badges. Yeah.
So people could like have their badge and be like, yeah, I was top 100 survivors in the or I was top 10 survivor in the March 2019 season.
Yeah.
Like that,
Seasons. Also, I think they should make seasons not like every month. I think they should reset it to like every 3 months.
yeah, and
In
make it
my opinion, that way you can actually like
this would again go with the leaderboard changes. But yeah,
yeah,
we could
elo,
talk
yeah.
about that another time. I think now we've kind of hit like
I was gonna say I'm just gonna end, like the last thing I'm gonna say. The best, the the update where they released the leaderboard and stuff like that is going to be the best update this game has ever had. That's all I'm gonna say.
one day. It'll come out one day. All right. It won't be soon because they haven't even
Soon
talked about
trademark.
it. Yeah, soon
Soon
DM.
trademark.
But yeah, I think we're in a good spot, and
Yeah.
it's really only uphill for here from here,
Yeah.
unless they decide to like make Nurse have 10 blinks. Then I'm uninstalling. Thank you all for checking out the H&G podcast. Make sure I'm gonna fucking edit you out. But make sure to share the podcast with other people. Kind of get this out there. I know Ussylis is gonna be putting this on it or putting the making some kind of announcement on his channel as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're gonna be doing that. But yeah,
Make me.
we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna aim for every week and have it out by Monday every week. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, see y'all next time.